Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice and it's by user Throwaway Sukima Road. My 27 male father-in-law, 59 male, led a smear campaign against me and came between me and my wife, 29 female. I'm lost. How do I forge forward? My 27 male wife, 29 female and I aren't in a good place. It's not a fun feeling. I feel context is important here. We're college sweethearts, married for 6 years and have a daughter, 4 female. Our constant hurdle is family. It's like having to validate our relationship. I always thought my wife was worth it though. I haven't felt for anyone else the way I do about her. My wife's family is very old school. They're conservative in their beliefs and values. My father-in-law, 59 male, is treated as the captain and looked to as the head. My relationship with him was never smooth, not for my lack of trying. Him putting up with me only came after my daughter. I don't believe he's ever thought I was good enough for his daughter. I wasn't his first choice or in his top 5. I don't share their gated community or fancy school's background. My father-in-law always had some backhanded remark about my upbringing. So, to the matter at hand. During a family gathering at my in-laws last Christmas, my father-in-law's iPad went missing. He blew a fuse and accused me of stealing it. His reasoning was there was a period of time I was alone in the house. I was never actually alone in the house. I was helping my mother-in-law, 58 female, in the kitchen because people were kicking back their feet while she was slaving away for a big family. There was no reasoning with him. He called the police and actually told the officers how a real man would own up when caught, but I was never taught to be a man. Another backhanded remark. I was raised in a household of women. My father-in-law expressed once that only a man can raise a boy into a man. I spoke up for myself during his rantings. The whole situation was humiliating, but I had nothing to hide. The officers had to de-escalate and stood around until everyone went their separate ways. My father-in-law did a smear campaign on social media accusing me of theft and saying how I wasn't family. Some real vicious stuff was said. It impacted my life. I lost a job opportunity because his post came up in the vetting process. The company was rebranding and didn't want drama associated. Essentially, I was shunned from the family. There were those who didn't agree with my father-in-law, but they wanted to stay out of it. No one wanted to cross him. I was no longer welcome on my in-laws' property until I confessed and apologized. My wife still attended everything without me and took our daughter with her even on New Year's Eve. I wanted to spend it with her and our daughter, but she chose to appease her dad and keep tradition. During all of my father-in-law's accusations, the smear campaign, the shunning, my wife didn't lend me support in any way. She bowed to her dad and would tell me to just apologize. She said I was being stubborn by refusing. It wasn't about apologizing. My father-in-law wanted me to beg. I'm not a prideful person, but I'm not getting on my knees and pleading for forgiveness for something I didn't commit. My wife said she was only trying to keep the peace instead of being right. Once, my father-in-law badmouthed me around our daughter and my wife never spoke up. She claimed she didn't hear him. I don't believe she would have done anything either way. Our daughter kept me afloat. I put my foot down on her attending gatherings after the badmouthing. My wife accused me of escalating by withholding our daughter. I felt father-in-law tried to influence my child against me. My move was for boundaries. I wasn't asking my wife to cut off her dad. I know how important family is to her, but we're married. We have a child. We made vows. I only wanted her to be there for me as my partner and best friend. She abandoned me. I had more support from my mother-in-law and sister-in-law, 35 female, than I ever did from her. We fought a lot. We were pushed to a new level of argument. I held everything in and we'd blow up. My wife said she'd dealt with her dad her whole life and she learned sometimes it was better to just yield. About a month ago, my name was cleared. My sister-in-law found the iPad in her son's 9-male room. He confessed to taking it. He was afraid to say anything after my father-in-law's reaction to me. My father-in-law has never apologized or publicly recanted. He acts like nothing happened and the rest of the family followed suit. He had my mother-in-law relay that I was welcome to their home again. Others began inviting me to functions. I've declined for myself and my daughter. I'm not holding grudges or using my daughter as punishment. I saw who my father-in-law was early. I don't want any involvement with him unless necessary, nor is my daughter allowed to have unsupervised visits with him. I don't want her exposed to the ugliness. The situation remains sore on my marriage. My wife won't talk about it. If I try, she says I'm throwing the past in her face. I'm just trying to open up to her about how everything still affects me. She feels like I'm not working toward keeping the peace. My father-in-law falsely accused me of theft, led a smear campaign, badmouthed me around our daughter, and was enabled by some family. This is me keeping the peace. I don't know if this post is the right call. My wife wouldn't approve, but there's no talking to her about this in any real way. I'm lost. I want to work on our marriage and do right by our daughter. I don't regret my choice on my father-in-law, but I am questioning if I am making things worse. I feel alone. I need a fresh perspective. How do I move forward as healthy as possible for my marriage when I don't know where to step? Well, in my opinion, you don't need to have apologized. You're the one that's been abandoned by the one person who should have had your back. Your father-in-law humiliated you, smeared your name, and poisoned your daughter against you, or at least tried. And your wife just stood there and called it keeping the peace. That's not peace, it's betrayal. You're not asking for revenge. You're asking for respect, truth, and a partnership. So in the end, this isn't just about the in-laws, or at least not greatly. It's about whether your marriage can be built on truth or just silence. And this is why you have two options. The first one would be to talk to your wife and see if maybe you guys can get some sort of help. Or the second one is assess how far along this thing has gone and maybe seek other avenues. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments. Peter the Great says, this problem is much more simple than you think. You think you're fighting a battle against your father-in-law and can somehow magically win him over and everything will be okay. Your father-in-law is actually an a-hole, but the real problem is that your wife is actually a crappy partner. Keeping the peace is just code for I want you to be the target so I'm not inconvenienced by the conflict. Your marriage is not healthy because your wife is not on your side. She stated quite clearly that she'll go along with her father. You can't change that. You can decide if you want your life to be like this forever. Hello Junebug says, what the F? I don't see how you do. Your wife either knew you didn't do it but was unwilling to stand up for you, or she believed you did do it. What happens when it's not an iPad being stolen but something way worse? Your wife will never be on your side. And Dopey responds, she knew I didn't do it. She just never stood up to her dad in any way or offer any support. She folded and checked out on me and left it to me meet these demands of taking ownership. It's made me question our relationship. And EJ1004 says, I'm going to be honest. You're fighting for a relationship with a woman who doesn't care about you. I know it will hurt, but it's in your own best interest to two-card her here, counseling or divorce. You can find a situation she doesn't care to solve by yourself, and you can't stay in a relationship with your wife is fine with her family demeaning and excluding you without apology. Wife, things haven't been good for a while now. You've chosen your family over our family unit. You did nothing to defend me against your family, and you want me, the wronged party, to forgive and forget when an apology was never even offered. I'm willing to fight for our relationship, but I'm not willing to rug sweep anything. Let's be honest, your father has never liked me, and if a situation like this happens again as our marriage currently stands, we won't make it through. I would never let my own family sit there and treat you the way your family has treated me. I would have never allowed them access to our child while they were talking about you behind your back. The past few months have been difficult. I've been fighting a battle with your family as you did nothing to support me during that time, and your ask that I take hits I didn't earn or deserve to keep your family's peace demonstrated how little you care for me. I'm not apologizing to your family as I did nothing wrong, and if they want to rug sweep, I'm perfectly fine not having a relationship with them. As for our family, I've talked to a divorce attorney and a marriage counselor. Think it over and decide which path you want to take, because I want a partner in my life, and your actions these past few months have shown me that I don't have one. Alright, well, the community is absolutely in focus. The problem OP has here is his relationship with his wife. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. I want to thank everyone for the support. I appreciate it. The original post was the first time I put everything out there and didn't feel dismissed. The situation with my father-in-law was extensive and largely unaddressed by my wife. It occurred to me that, not being able to open up to her, I didn't know how to communicate with her anymore. The feedback I received was a real eye-opener. My issue isn't isolated to my father-in-law. This isn't solely a spat with in-laws. It's an issue involving my wife. Things with my father-in-law are what they are. I'm not seeking a deeper connection with him. We're in-laws, nothing more, nothing less, and he made it abundantly clear in his smear campaign that I wasn't family, but a hurdle the family needed to overcome. My concern is my wife and our daughter. They're my family and my focus. That said, I realize I can't make my wife do anything. I can't make her communicate with me. I can't make her instill boundaries with her dad. I only have a say for myself and our daughter. I know something needs to change. Our marriage can't be sustained this way. It's not good for anyone, especially our daughter. After getting my feelings out, I felt more resolved with what I needed to do. I told my wife about the original post. She's seen it and some comments. She wasn't thrilled, but to her credit, she didn't automatically shut me down like usual. She was open to hearing what I had to say. I don't know if ultimatum is the right term because I wasn't trying to force her to choose anything. I'm just trying to implement boundaries for our daughter and our marriage. I told her that things needed to change because our marriage couldn't survive like this. No one should feel alone or abandoned in their marriage. The options were either couples therapy or separation. She didn't take to separation well. She seemed repulsed by it. She said she knew we weren't in a good place, but she didn't realize that was where I was at and how we made vows and our bond is supposed to withstand. She feels her dad shouldn't take away from us. I told her I wasn't taking separation lightly. Our vows do mean something, but whether she admits it or not, she checked out on our vows in favor of her dad. It wasn't keeping the peace. It was me drowning while she was on her dad's boat and never tossed me a line. Our issues are bigger than just her dad. Our current way isn't it. My wife chose therapy. We found a therapist and it's officially scheduled. I want to be hopeful, but that's not something I've let myself feel for a bit now. I don't believe she was only telling me what she thought I wanted to hear. I saw the reality of it hit her when separation was put on the table. I asked her if marriage counseling was something she really wanted. I'm not talking about the sometimes it's better to yield thing she said about her dad or for keeping the peace. I was asking what she genuinely wanted. She said it was and that she doesn't want to lose our relationship or our family. Some have questioned why I'd want to try working on my marriage. It's not about staying for our daughter. I want to make a real attempt for my family and see if things can be mended. I know there's more to my wife than just my father-in-law. I fell in love with her because of who she was as a person. When we met and got to know each other, it was away from her dad. I saw how caring she was for others, even if she didn't agree with their point of view, how decent she was, and how she had a weight off her shoulders with distance from her dad's shadow. My wife is the youngest of her siblings, and I would say my in-laws hold on to her more tightly. I didn't know how bad things were until I actually dealt with my father-in-law. It's why she chose a long-distance school and didn't go home on breaks often. Her work moved us closer to home and she was back into the fold fully. My father-in-law's smear campaign was our first major obstacle following that. I'm in love with my wife, but I'm not speaking out of blind love. Whether we're together or not, I want the best for her. Part of my hope for marriage counseling is that she regains sight of herself separate from her dad and sees that boundaries for herself aren't crossing a line. Maybe we can recover together and come out better for it. I know we got married a little young. Trust me, we've heard our fair share from the skeptics, but I was always sure of my wife. Marriage wasn't something I took lightly. I didn't expect there to be nothing but clear skies, but we should want more from each other. Being there for each other and emotional intimacy are the bare minimum. We should be a team. Our family is the core before any other relationship. To me, our vows mean consciously choosing each other and committing to each other even when it's hard. I don't know what marriage counseling will bring. It'll be my first experience with therapy. All I can do is take everything one step at a time and reaffirm boundaries for myself and my daughter. I'm not withholding my daughter as punishment or holding grudges. I don't even want an apology from my father-in-law because I know it will be empty. I'm just done giving him any more power. I'm protecting my daughter too. To those who haven't experienced something like this, I hope you never will, and for those in a similar struggle, I hope for nothing but the best for you. You're not alone. Thank you for showing me that I'm not either. Well, OP, you want to take a shot at your marriage because you've seen a glimpse of what your wife was away from your father-in-law, and I think that's a good shot. So hopefully it works out for you, your wife, and your daughter, your whole family unit. Take care, OP, and thanks for sharing. And now, let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user ScaryExpert1929. Punishing me for underperforming for 1 day in 2 years? No problem. Hello everyone, I will try to be concise. Background. I work at a company where I handle mid to high level complaints to managers, PR and legal. My daily requirement is 40 cases handled per day. There are some of my team colleagues that struggle with this, but I don't. And I don't feel lazy to stop at 40. So I've handled 50 to 55 basically every day for the past 2 years. There is no bonus or even recognition for this. I just do it because I felt a friendly obligation to the company. Complaints can be a 5-minute resolution or a 2-hour Zoom call with our New York lawyers. It's a gamble, really. So recently, I had a day where I felt a bit sick and at the same time had bad luck of getting only very hard cases that required more time. So I had 39 cases, 1 under the requirement. I thought nothing of it as my weekly average way off the charts, 55 plus as usual. The very next day I felt better and went back to my usual high numbers. Come Monday, I had an emergency one-on-one with my manager where I was informed that I had to attend a 3-day workshop or seminar on how to best meet requirements. Because I had underperformed last week, my jaw dropped and I asked, don't they count the weekly, monthly, yearly numbers? To which I was told that the daily requirement is 40 and this is standard practice. Nothing we can do. Basically, it was a workshop for underperformers who had 20 to 30 out of 40 cases daily. It was nothing hard, but I did need to drive there for 3 days after work and listen to HR guys giving bad advice, as they never actually handled the cases in real life. And I had to talk about what will I do to improve my numbers and reach the 40, as the nonsense HR talk calls it. This made me lose hours and hours of my free time and I was livid. After it was over, I had a long think and I decided I will do exactly that. I will reach the 40 and that's it. The aftermath, for the past few months, I go into work, I handle 40 cases, my daily requirement, and then I do nothing for the rest of my shift. I've had multiple one-on-ones with my manager during this time and I am constantly asked, is something wrong? To which I naively reply, no, am I in trouble? Am I underperforming? And then, of course, they say I am 100% within daily requirement, and that way I shut the conversation down. This is real life, so I can't really say a clever comeback or something like that. But I do keep playing the fool that has no idea what is wrong now. But I find satisfaction in knowing that they got used to my overachieving and are now suffering for the lack of it. Before Easter, they put up an internal ad for promoting another 2 managers, so my guess is how that is the number of people they will need to pay extra just because they lost me as an overachiever and they lost me for no reason other than their own stupidity. Thank you all. I hope I did not bore you. Not at all, OP. It sucks that you just got stuck with a bad boss instead of an actual leader that would congratulate you for the great work that you were doing. What an idiot. But in any case, OP, they totally deserve it. Good for you. Take care and thanks for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.